Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's Natalie. I am having a lot of fun with some bees today. This sheet of cardstock, or paper I should say, is the Bees and Butterflies sheet number F. Now mine is folded because paperrose sent this in my last order. Sometimes they send something out of like, here, I like to see what you would do with this cardstock and go for it. So that's why mine's folded. And I'm not a scrapbooker, so that doesn't really matter. I have mustard seed, spiced marmalade. There goes my phone. And I also have black soot that I'm going to put over this. Now, yellow sunshine or paper rose cardstock is really super thick. It's a 300 GSM. Now for my American friends, I don't know how much that is in pounds. We go by GSM. I can't even remember off the top of my head what GSM sounds like, but if you know, put it in the comment box below. I'm going over the cardstock 2 times. Now, it wouldn't be in my video if I didn't do something or didn't do it, oops. This piece of cardstock is not cut down, so it is the size of a card front for the Australian peeps. Trim it down. But I didn't really think about that beforehand, because sometimes I get in and just create and it turns out to be a video for paperrose. I'm going to go back over that again in the mustard seed, not the mustard seed, what is it? Spiced marmalade, which is really going to mute it down. I did dry it in between, but I will add a little bit more around the edges once we have actually trimmed it down. This is Buffalo Plaid embossing folder, and I'm just making sure it's all nicely lined up and all delicious. We have, our sentiment today is going to be happy. Now I'm actually going to use the outline in white. Thank you. And the shadow in white, and the actual outline is going to be in the black cardstock. And before I run that through the Cuttlebug or Big Shot, I am actually going to use the same colors and do a little bit of sponging. I also have white for the shadow of the bees and white for the outlines, but we're going to add a little bit of color to that later on. Now I started with black. Don't start with black, start with your lightest color. You know, as I said, this is what I do. So, you know, hopefully you'll remember better than I do about what not to do and what you should do. Just finishing that up, and I'll go over that a couple of times with each color. I really have nothing to tell you. I am just in the process of packing. I just pack a couple of boxes a week. We're still 6 weeks, just under 6 weeks at the time of making this video. You're actually going to see it later on, and if I'm not mistaken, this video will actually go up after we've moved. But it's all fun and games. So just every now and then I pack a box or two, and we already had a lot because of the staging. We already had a lot put away, so it's not too much. I am just using the yellow and the orange, spiced marmalade and mustard seed. I am not going to use the bigger bees, but you're going to see me put them together. So I've got the white shadow with the yellow / orange outline to it, with a little bit of glue. This is paperrose liquid glue, which I've just decanted into a finer tip bottle. I just found that a little bit easier to get on those fine details. So this sheet is, see, I haven't cut it down. It's like, you silly sausage. Like, So I've trimmed it all down. I'm adding a little bit more black to it. The bees and butterflies, it's going to be 14.4 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And this other, the embossed panel, will be 14.1 by 9.7. So you can see I'm getting a much finer little dollop of glue. Adhere those all down. Give it a little bit of weight. So I'm just trying to figure out my sentiment. Now, because I'm using the same colors, I'm going to use a little bit of vellum just to make that pop a little bit more, and it really does. It brings it out. I'm going to use these butterflies, but they're not staying. Oh, the other thing I should not do. Adhere your vellum before you try to adhere it down onto your cardstock. Just a word of warning, you know. I've just got a little bit of squidge of glue that's going to sit underneath my sentiment, and the sentiment is going to overflow a little bit, go past the boundaries of the vellum tape. Now, here in Australia, they've actually changed, where I get this from, they've actually changed the foam. Because if you've been with me for a while, I have said plenty of times that once this puppy is stuck down, it is well and truly stuck. Well, they've changed it, which has worked. This is where the pennies dropped. I'm like, you silly, you numpty. So I'm using my little silicone mat because it's not going to stick to the mat. And bend that around. I am not too worried that I'm going to have foam tape, and so it's going to be a little bit raised. It's not going to be flat to the cardstock. It's all good. It doesn't matter. It's all good. I am going to, it's going to be hard to see, but I've placed a little bit of glue just behind the bee. It was just sort of, sometimes when you put vellum down, my head's getting in the way, sorry. When you put vellum down, it just still, because it's such thick, I want to say cardstock, but it's not cardstock, thick material. Sometimes it still bows up a little bit, so I've just added a bit of glue and a bit of pressure. Applying my bees. Now these are not going to stay. Apart from me fighting with them, these are not going to stay. The thing with vellum is you need to make sure that you hide your adhesive, which is why I only put it on the back of my Be Happy. I've got a bit of diamond stardust. Now diamond distress sickles. Now diamonds have a little bit of a goldy tinge, yellowy goldy tinge. So that works in really, really well with my card here. And I'm just applying like 3 dots just out of his little tush, just to finish that off. This is where I'm like, I don't like the white. So we're going to rip those off. And we need to talk about those. What I have done, because I've added glue in the center-ish of my white butterflies, my bees. They're bees. I have used a little, like some sort of tool, like a craft tool, or even probably the tweezers that I've got. And you can see it here. I've just gone around the edges and tried to push it in towards the middle. Now this one's going to rip ever so slightly when I take it all off properly. So I'm pulling it onto itself rather than towards the outside. So I'm going around it, pull it towards itself, move around a little bit more, pull it towards itself. You get the drift? And then using my tool, my tweezers there, just trying to make sure that none of the cardstock the white cardstock is showing. So that is that. And then using my scissors, just trimming it away from the outline as much as I can. Could you just die cut a whole other white one or black one? Absolutely, you could, but I like a good challenge. You know, it's only a tiny bit of cardstock, so die cut that puppy again. But you can do it this way. You just need to be careful on which way and how much you pull it. So don't go crazy town and at warp speed and pull it all away, because you will rip it. You have to go slowly. And that is my butterfly. Oh my gosh, my bees all done. They're butterflies that they just have a little bit of extra bite on their tails. Okay, that's a new thing. That is my card for today. I hope you're well. Take care, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.